Chosen one, stop. Before you scroll past this, before your mind tells you you've heard this before, I need you to hear what I'm about to say. Because some of you almost missed the most important moment of your life by one single click. If this message found you on March 16th or heading into March 17th, do not brush it off. I'm not talking about a blessing. I'm not talking about a word of encouragement to get you through another hard week. I'm talking about a divine rearrangement, God reaching into the architecture of your life and crossing out chapters that were never supposed to be your ending. You have prayed. You have waited. You have swallowed pain that would have broken most people. You kept going in silence while everyone around you seemed to move forward. Some nights you lay in the dark, wondering if God had simply forgotten your name. He didn't. But here is the truth that is going to shake something loose inside you. Right now you thought God was delaying you, but God may have been preserving you. Think about that. The runway has been long not because the plane was broken, but because what you're carrying requires a different kind of liftoff. You are not a single-engine prop plane. You were built for altitude that most people never reach. These two dates, March 16th and 17th, are not just numbers on a calendar. For some of you watching right now, they are the line between who you were and who you are about to become. Before this message ends, I'm going to show you the one mistake that most chosen ones make right before their moment arrives, and it will cost them everything if they don't catch it in time. There is a reason the pressure got heavier before March 16th. There is a reason something in your chest has been unsettled, restless, almost unbearable these last few days. And there is one sign, one undeniable sign, that proves you are not losing your mind. You are crossing a threshold. The courtroom has been locked. The verdict has already been written. The door is about to open. If you feel in your spirit that this message is for you, type right now, I will not miss this moment. Because what God is about to do in these 2 days doesn't need your perfection. It doesn't need your strength. It only needs your presence. Stay with me. Let me ask you something nobody else has been willing to ask you. When was the last time someone looked you in the eye, truly looked at you and said, I know how tired you really are. Not tired from lack of sleep, not tired from a hard week, but tired in a place that rest doesn't reach. Tired in the marrow, tired in the memory, tired in the part of your soul that has been praying the same prayer for so long. You sometimes forget why you started. That's where some of you are living right now. And I need you to know, I see you. Some of you are not afraid because you have no faith. You are tired because you have been faithful for too long without visible movement. Read that again. Let it land. You didn't quit. You didn't walk away. You kept showing up to God when God felt distant. You kept giving when you had nothing left to give. You kept holding your family together with 2 hands, while your own heart was coming apart at the seams. And somewhere along the way, the weight of all that faithfulness started feeling like the cruelest kind of silence, because you did everything right. And the breakthrough still hasn't come. Some of you have been praying for your children for 20, 30 years. You watched them walk away from everything you raised them to believe. You've stood in the kitchen after midnight, pressing your forehead against cold cabinet wood, whispering their names to God like a mother who refuses to stop knocking, even when the door doesn't open. You are not in rebellion. You are in the ache of endurance. Some of you buried the person who made home feel like home, and now you sit in rooms full of their furniture, their photographs, their coffee mugs, and the silence is so loud it has a sound. People told you, time heals everything. But nobody told you about the Tuesday afternoons, the quiet ones, the ones where the grief just sits down next to you without warning and stays. Some of you are carrying financial fear so private, so heavy, you haven't spoken it out loud to a single soul, because you've always been the strong one, the one people called, the one who gave. And now, in what should be your season of rest, you're lying awake doing mathematics that don't add up. wondering how it came to this. Some of you feel spiritually alive on the inside but completely frozen on the outside. You sense something stirring. You feel something at the edge of your spirit, like a word being formed but not yet spoken. But nothing in your life has moved. Nothing has shifted. And that gap between what you feel in your spirit and what you see in your circumstances has become its own kind of torment. That is not confusion. That is a threshold. The Bible tells us in Psalm 126:5, "Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy." Not maybe, not possibly, shall. Past the doubt, past the delay, past the season where the ground looked like it was holding nothing. Here is what nobody tells you about the winter soil. The roots are still moving. Underground, in the dark, where no one can see them, where even you cannot feel them working. The old house creaks the loudest right before the restoration begins. The olive is pressed the hardest right before the oil flows purest. And a letter delayed in the mail is not a letter cancelled. God has not cancelled yours. But I want to ask you something that might cut deep, because I'm not here to give you a comfortable word. I'm here to give you a true one. Is it possible that what you've been calling abandonment is actually accompaniment? Is it possible that the silence you've been interpreting as God's absence is actually the sound of God working in a register too deep for the human ear to detect? Job sat in his ashes for 37 chapters before God spoke. 37 chapters of silence, of friends who got it wrong, of a righteous man wondering what he had done to deserve his own life unraveling. And when God finally spoke from the whirlwind, he didn't explain the silence. He revealed himself inside of it. Your exhaustion may not be proof of abandonment. It may be proof you've been carrying the weight of transition. That weight is real, it is legitimate, and it is not going to last forever. Because this is precisely why March 16th and 17th matter more than you realize. Because heaven often moves hardest when the soul is tempted to quit quietly, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. In the private places, in the tired places, in the places where you've stopped telling people how you really feel because explaining it has become its own kind of exhaustion. Heaven sees those places. Stay with me, because the very place where you thought God had gone silent may be the place where he was writing your next chapter. And what he has written is nothing like what you feared. Let me tell you something that most people never learn until it's too late. Not every day is the same weight. Not every morning carries the same spiritual atmosphere. Scripture is clear. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "There is a time and a season for every purpose under heaven." And the word there is not chronos, not ordinary clock time. It is kairos, appointed time, God-assigned time, the kind of time that doesn't repeat. March 16th and 17th carry that atmosphere. I need you to understand what I mean when I say that, because this is not hype. This is not emotion dressed up as prophecy. This is spiritual discernment rooted in the patterns of how God has always moved. There are seasons when God comforts, and then there are moments when God confronts the old pattern. This is one of those moments. Think about what happened at the Red Sea. Israel wasn't standing at a beach. They were standing at an impossible wall of water with Pharaoh's army thundering behind them. Everything familiar had been stripped away. Every option was gone. And right there in that narrow, terrifying window, God did the one thing no human strategy could accomplish. He didn't improve the situation. He ended one era and began another. In a single night. That is the atmosphere of March 16th and 17th. Not comfort, crossing. Now hear me carefully. Before Israel crossed over, there was separation. Before Joshua took Jericho, there was surrender. Before Esther walked into that throne room for such a time as this, there was fasting, silence, and the death of her own plan. God never opens a new chapter without first closing the old one. And the closing is always uncomfortable. Some of you have been feeling that discomfort for weeks, that heaviness you can't name. That sense that something is ending, something that used to feel like home doesn't feel like home anymore. Relationships that once gave you energy now feel like they're pulling something out of you. Old habits that used to bring relief now bring nothing but emptiness. That is not depression. That is separation. God is surgically removing what March 17th cannot take with you. Isaiah 43:19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" The question is not whether God is moving. The question is whether you are paying attention. So let me show you what these 2 days may activate in your life. What was stalled, a door, a decision, a dream you buried, begins to move again. What was hidden, truth, clarity, a revelation about your situation begins to surface. What you misread as rejection begins to reveal itself as redirection. What was draining you, a toxic connection, an old agreement you made in your brokenness, loses its access to your life. And what was always assigned to you starts calling louder than it ever has before. Can you hear it? That pulling inside your chest that says there is still more. There is still something waiting on the other side of this. That is not wishful thinking. That is your assignment knocking. But here is the part that will stop you cold if you let it sink in. The real change is not the event itself. The real change is what God will no longer allow you to keep carrying after these dates. You have been dragging weight that was never yours to carry. Guilt over decisions you made in survival mode. Shame that someone planted in you decades ago. Fear that disguised itself as wisdom. And God is saying, not on my watch, not past this threshold. This moment will change everything, not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because what used to control you will no longer be allowed to define you. Chosen one, before resurrection there is always burial. Before the open door there is always internal surrender. Before the new thing there is always the death of the old thing. And what feels like dying right now, that helplessness, that confusion, that stripped-down place where nothing seems to be working, that is not God abandoning you. That is divine surgery, without anesthesia. He is cutting deep because what he is removing has roots. It has been in you a long time. It has shaped how you see yourself, how you pray, how much you believe you deserve. And it cannot come with you into what he is building next. In a moment, I am going to show you the 3 things God may be cutting off right now, and one of them is going to make you stop and say, that is exactly what has been holding me back all along. But first ask yourself one question, not out loud, in the quiet of your spirit. What is the one thing in your life that, if God removed it completely, you would finally become who you were always meant to be? Hold that, because what comes next is going to answer it. Let me ask you something. Nobody in your life has had the courage to ask you, when was the last time you allowed yourself to want something, truly want something, without immediately talking yourself out of it? Not a wish, not a quiet thought you quickly buried. A real, deep, burning desire that you once carried like fire before life extinguished it, one disappointment at a time. Because I believe some of you watching right now stopped dreaming out loud, not because the dream died, but because disappointment embarrassed your faith. You didn't quit God, you just got quieter, and God sees that. And around March 16th and 17th, he is not sending you just a blessing. He is coming after the chains that convinced you the blessing was never coming. There are 3 of them, and they are invisible, which is why they are the most dangerous kind. Chain 1, the lie that it is too late. This is the chain that has devastated more chosen ones than any other. And it speaks with a calm, reasonable voice, which is exactly what makes it deadly. It says, you are too old. You had your season. Look at your age. Look at what you have lost. Look at how much time has passed. God already gave your opportunity to someone younger, someone faster, someone who didn't take so long. And some of you right now, in the privacy of your own heart, you believe it. But hear the word of God. Moses was 80 years old when the burning bush appeared. 80. When every human calendar said his time had expired, God said, "Now we begin." Sarah carried Isaac at 90. Anna, the prophetess, was 84 when she beheld the face of the Messiah and declared his name over all of Jerusalem. Psalm 92:14 declares, "They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. Not they used to bear fruit, not they bore fruit once." Still, present tense, ongoing. Your later years are not leftovers from a life God already used up. They are the sacred hour, the moment when everything you survived finally becomes everything God needed you to carry. The lie says your age disqualifies you. The truth says your age is your credential. Chain 2. Emotional bondage to old pain. This chain does not announce itself. It does not show up wearing a name tag. It hides inside the memories you replay at 3 inches the morning. Inside the relationships that ended and left wounds that never fully closed. Inside the regret that follows you into every new chapter like a shadow you cannot shake. Old betrayal, old guilt, old grief. The face of someone who hurt you 20 years ago that you still see when you close your eyes. The decision you made or did not make that changed everything. The version of your life you were supposed to have that you are still secretly mourning. And every morning you wake up and let yesterday interpret tomorrow. You are agreeing with a chain that God is trying to cut. Isaiah 43:18 and 19. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Not a repaired version of the old thing. A new thing. But a new thing cannot enter a room filled with old furniture. Some of you have your entire inner life decorated with pain from decades ago, and you have been wondering why new blessings never seem to stay. It is not because God is withholding, it is because the room is full. March 16th and 17th, God is clearing the room. But you have to be willing to let Him take what He reaches for, even when it hurts to release it. Chain 3. Agreement with delay. This is the quietest chain, and it may be the one that has held you the longest. It does not come through a dramatic attack. It comes through time, through accumulated disappointment, through learning slowly, painfully to want less, expect less, risk less, because the distance between your hope and your reality got too wide to keep crossing. You started surviving in a season God meant to end. You got so good at managing disappointment that you built an entire life around not being surprised by it anymore. You stopped knocking on certain doors. You stopped speaking certain prayers out loud. Not because you stopped believing, but because hoping and being wrong one more time felt like more than you could survive. But Lamentations 3:25 says, "The Lord is good to those who wait for Him, to the soul who seeks Him." Waiting is not the same as settling. Silence is not the same as surrender. And God is confronting every inner agreement that trained you to expect less than what He promised. If you are ready right now to break agreement with delay once and for all, type in the comments, "No more old chains." Not as a ritual, as a declaration, as a spiritual act of defiance against everything that has whispered you into smallness. Because God is not done with you. He is not working around your age, your past, or your pain. He is working through them. And that leads to the warning for March 16th and 17th. Because if you misread this moment, you may cling to the very thing God is trying to remove. Stay with me, because what comes next is the part that will change how you see everything. Listen to me very carefully right now, because what I'm about to say is the part of this message that most people will not want to hear, but every single chosen one desperately needs to. You are closer than you have ever been. The shift is real, the dates are significant, but right before a divine shift, the old life often makes one last argument. And that argument sounds so reasonable, so familiar, so safe, that thousands of chosen ones have turned back just steps from the door. Do not be one of them. Here is what nobody warns you about. The enemy does not always attack with chaos. Sometimes he attacks with familiarity. Not with a roaring lion, but with an old phone number, a comfortable memory, a face from a chapter God already closed. A voice that says, "Remember how it used to be. Maybe it wasn't that bad." That is not nostalgia. That is a trap dressed in a trench coat you used to love. Think about the children of Israel. God had just split the Red Sea. 40 years of slavery finished, Pharaoh's grip broken. And what did they do? They looked back. They said, "At least in Egypt we had meat to eat." They romanticized their own chains because the wilderness felt uncertain. That is exactly what happens in the days before your breakthrough. Pharaoh does not accept the Exodus quietly. He chases, he argues, he shows up at the edge of the water with every reason why you should come back. But here is what you need to understand. Pharaoh has no authority over a soul that God has already released. He only has the power you hand him when you stop walking forward. So let me ask you something that is going to cut right to the bone. Have you gone back to someone God already removed? Have you reopened a door that heaven sealed shut, not because it was right, but because you were lonely? Have you made a fear-based decision this week, not because God gave you direction, but because the silence felt too uncomfortable to sit in? Be honest. Because here is the mistake that costs chosen ones everything right before their moment. They confuse discomfort with danger. They feel the pressure building, and they interpret it as a sign that something is wrong, when it is actually the sign that something is about to break open. Think of it this way. You are not falling apart. You are a bow, fully pulled back. And the tension you feel right now is not evidence of failure. It is the mechanics of a launch. But if you flinch, if you release the tension prematurely by running back to what is familiar, the arrow never reaches its target. There is also this. Some of you have been speaking death over a season that God is actually rewriting. Your mouth has been saying, "It's too late. Nothing is changing. Maybe this just isn't for me." And every word like that is a brick you are personally laying across the door God is trying to open. Proverbs 18:21 does not stutter. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Not some life, not partial life. The power of what manifests next is in what comes out of your mouth today. And then there is this warning, and I want you to hear it clearly. Not every open door is from God. Some doors are just old cycles wearing a new outfit. The relationship that looks different this time. The opportunity that feels urgent but has the same spirit as the last thing that broke you. The invitation back into a room you already outgrew. Just because a door opens does not mean heaven unlocked it. Discernment is not doubt. Pausing is not fear. Saying no to the wrong door is an act of radical faith. You are living in the smoke before the walls fall. And in that smoke, everything looks unclear. Everything feels unstable. And the greatest lie the enemy will whisper in that smoke is this: the walls aren't falling. You imagined this whole thing. You did not imagine it. Here is the truth that I need you to plant so deep in your soul that nothing can uproot it. The pressure got stronger because your exit got closer. Read that again. The pressure got stronger because your exit got closer. What felt like God abandoning you was God accelerating you. What felt like the ceiling caving in was the floor of a new level being built beneath your feet. The old landlord of your past, the guilt, the grief, the broken identity he keeps showing up trying to collect rent on a house you no longer live in. You do not owe him one more day. Do not let the last hour of the old season talk you out of the first hour of the new one. Because in the next part of this message, I am going to show you the signs, the undeniable, specific, spiritually confirmed signs that prove the shift has already started in your life. Even if nothing around you looks different yet, even if your circumstances have not moved one single inch, the evidence is already there. And once you see it, you will never be able to unsee it. Something has been happening inside you, and before you explain it away, before you tell yourself you're just tired, just overthinking, just getting older, I need you to sit with what I'm about to say. Because what you've been feeling these last several days is not confusion. It is not weakness. It is not your mind playing tricks on you. It is God moving. You've felt it, haven't you? That restlessness that won't let you settle. You'll be sitting in your favorite chair, perfectly still, and something deep in your chest won't stop stirring. Not anxiety, not fear, something older than that. Something that feels like waiting for a door you can hear but can't yet see. That is not random. That is a signal. Then there's the sudden clarity about people. Relationships that used to confuse you, you now see with stunning precision. You know, without being told, who belongs in this next chapter and who doesn't. Something in you is quietly, firmly releasing what no longer fits. Not with bitterness, just with a finality that surprises even you. That is not coldness. That is discernment sharpening in the presence of God. And your sleep. How many nights this week have you woken at 2, maybe 3 inches the morning, wide awake, no alarm, no noise, just lying there in the dark with a spirit so alert it almost frightens you? The house is silent, but inside you, something is moving, something is listening. Something is being realigned at a level you don't have words for yet. Job 33-14, 1:5 says this, God speaks once, twice through dreams, through night visions. When deep sleep falls upon men, he is not waking you to trouble you. He is waking you because he has something to say that the noise of day won't allow. You are not imagining this. You are not unstable. You are picking up on movement in the spirit before it becomes visible in the natural. And here's what I need the older viewers, the ones who've walked with God for 4, 5, 6 decades, to hear right now. After all these years, your discernment did not get weaker, it got sharper. You have lived long enough to know when heaven is tugging on your spirit. You have buried enough dead seasons to recognize when something new is breathing. Don't you dare dismiss what you're feeling just because the world stopped asking for your wisdom. You've also noticed something else. The things that used to pull at you, the drama, the noise, the arguments that once kept you up at night, they don't have the same grip anymore. You look at situations that would have consumed you last year and feel almost detached. Not numb, detached. Like a ship that has quietly, without fanfare, cut its ropes from the old dock. That is not apathy. That is a soul being prepared for departure. The birds know before you do. They feel the pressure shift in the atmosphere before a single cloud appears in the sky. They don't need to see the storm to know it's coming. They begin to move. They reposition, not in panic, in purpose. That is you right now. You are the lamp that has been flickering, not dying, flickering right before full power is restored. You are the first grey line at the eastern edge of the sky, the one that appears before the sun has even cleared the horizon. You are the water running silently beneath frozen ground, invisible to every eye above, but alive, moving, thawing from the inside out. Jeremiah 1:12 records God saying, I am watching over my word to perform it. He is not late. He is not absent. He has been working underground, in the invisible, in the marrow of your waiting, and now the ground above your life is beginning to crack. You have felt recurring thoughts you cannot shake. Change, movement, release. The word surrender keeps coming back, not as defeat, but as relief. You've thought about what it would mean to finally let go of the weight you've been carrying. Not give up, let go. There is a holy difference. You've had an inner sense that something is ending. Not a bad something, an old something. A chapter closing not with tragedy, but with quiet dignity. The way a long, faithful prayer finally says, Amen. You didn't need proof to feel it. You felt it before the proof arrived. That is exactly what the Spirit does. It moves ahead of the evidence. Faith, Hebrews 11:1 tells us, is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You are living that verse right now, in real time, in real life. So let me ask you directly, and I need you to answer this honestly in your heart. How long have you been dismissing what God has already been confirming? If you've been feeling the shift before seeing the proof, Type it right now. I feel it before I see it. Because here is the truth that will carry you into everything that comes next in this message. The evidence did not disappear. It just hasn't reached your eyes yet. But there is one final inner battle, one last stronghold that many chosen ones still have to win before this change becomes visible. And it may be the most important thing I say to you today. I need you to stay with me right here, because this is the part most preachers skip. This is the part that feels uncomfortable. This is the part where God stops being just your provider and becomes your surgeon. You want the new season. I know you do. You've prayed for it. You've fasted for it. You've claimed it. But let me ask you something that may shake you to the core tonight. What if the reason your new season hasn't arrived yet is not because God is withholding it from you? What if it's because you are still carrying something that cannot cross the river with you? Hear me. The Jordan River didn't part for Israel until their feet got wet. God didn't promise a dry crossing from a distance. He waited until they were standing at the edge, with everything on the line before the water moved. And right now, on the threshold of March 16th and 17th, God is asking you to step to the edge. Not with your luggage, not with your armor from old wars, not with the version of yourself that was built entirely to survive a season that is now ending. Sometimes the reason a new season feels so painful is because an old self is still asking to come with you. Let that land. You have been in grief, real, legitimate, holy grief. Some of you lost a spouse. Some of you lost a version of yourselves you loved. Some of you lost your health, your certainty, your confidence in God's timing. And instead of releasing that grief, you have made it your identity. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you reach for is your pain. Because it is familiar, because it is yours, because it has been with you so long, it feels like the only honest thing left. But God will comfort you, and He will also confront what cannot cross over. This is where March 16th and 17th become deeply personal. Because the moment that changes everything may begin with one surrender you did not want to make. Look at Jacob in Genesis 32. He spent the whole night wrestling with God. His hip was put out of socket. He was in pain, but he refused to let go. And in the morning, God didn't condemn him for the struggle. God gave him a new name, Israel, a prince who wrestled with God and prevailed. But Jacob limped after that. Do you understand what that means? The new name came with a new walk. The blessing required a breaking. You cannot carry your new identity on the same bones that held your old one. Something has to be permanently altered. Abraham stood on Mount Moriah with a knife in his hand over his own son, the one promise he had held for 25 years, the reason he left everything. God said, "Lay it down," and Abraham raised the knife. That was not cruelty. That was God proving whether Abraham's identity was rooted in the gift or in the giver. What is your Isaac? What is the promise you are holding so tightly that you have stopped being able to receive anything else? What expectation of how God must do it has become a cage that God Himself has to break you out of? Because here is the hard truth. Israel left Egypt physically, but Egypt didn't leave Israel mentally for 40 years. They were free in their feet and still enslaved in their minds. Free from Pharaoh's chains, but still dreaming about his food, complaining about manna when they used to eat leeks and garlic as slaves. They were so bonded to familiar suffering that they confused it with home. Is that you? Are you so accustomed to a pain that feels like home that the thought of leaving it terrifies you? You have been wearing your bitterness like a coat, your self-protection like a shield, your fixed expectations like a map, and none of it can cross the river with you. When Lazarus walked out of that tomb, he was alive, but he was still wrapped in his burial clothes. Jesus did not just say, "Rise." He said, "Unwrap him." God is saying that to someone right now. You have been resurrected in some places, but you are still wrapped in what buried you. The bitterness from what they did to you, the grief from what you lost, the version of yourself that learned to survive by staying small, staying silent, staying safe. God says, unwrap it. Let it go. Leave it at the entrance of the tomb where it belongs. Gold does not argue with fire. It simply endures it because it knows what it is becoming. And what comes out of the furnace is not diminished. It is proven. Pruning looks like loss. But the vineyard keeper in John 15 says, every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more. More, not less, more. So here is your sacred invitation. Not a shout, a whisper. Whisper this over your own life right now. Lord, I release what cannot go where you are taking me. Let yourself feel the weight of that surrender. Let the tears come if they come. This is not weakness. This is the bravest thing a human soul can do, to open a hand that has been clenched for years. Because the new season is not only trying to enter your life, it is trying to enter your heart. And your heart has been the locked room. The door is unlocking now, but what comes through it next, that is what changes everything. Listen to me. You have been waiting for God to rescue you from your pain. But what if that was never the full plan? What if God's plan was never just to dry your tears, but to reassign your oil? Because here is where this message stops being a comfort and starts becoming a commission. Here is where everything shifts, not just for your heart, but for your entire life's purpose. God is not trying to help you survive this hour. He is placing you where your life will mean more than it ever has. Read that again. Let that land in your spirit. This is not about relief. This is about repositioning. There is a difference, and beloved, that difference is everything. Relief says, God, just get me through today. Repositioning says, God, place me exactly where you need me for what is coming next. One keeps you surviving, the other sends you forward. And what God is doing on March 16th and 17th is not cosmetic. It is governmental. That means it carries authority. That means it carries assignment. That means heaven itself is rearranging the structure of your life, the way a general reassigns a decorated veteran, not to pasture but to a new front, a more critical post, a position that requires every battle scar you carry. Chosen one, you did not survive all these years just to sit quietly and disappear. You survived because someone, somewhere, desperately needs what only your survival can produce. Think about the prophet Elijah in 1 Kings 19. He was exhausted, depleted, lying under a tree, asking God to take his life. That is not a man at the peak of his career. That is a man finished, done, spent. And what did God do? He did not scold him. He fed him. He let him rest. And then he said, the journey is too great for you. Get up, because I have not repositioned you yet. I still have assignment ahead. That is your story right now. The weight you have been carrying, the exhaustion, the sleepless nights, the feeling that the best is behind you, that was not God withdrawing. That was God preparing your vessel for a fresh pour. Because you cannot put new oil into a container that has not been emptied. You had to lose some things. You had to be stripped of some attachments, some identities, some rooms in your life that were comfortable but were never meant to be permanent. God was not punishing you in those seasons of loss. He was making you portable. He was making you available. He was making you dangerous. Your years were not wasted. Your years were training. Your scars are not evidence of defeat. Your scars carry wisdom that no seminary in this country can teach. No textbook contains what you have lived. No young person, no matter how gifted, no matter how talented, can replicate what God forged in you through decades of real life. Moses was 80 years old when he walked into Pharaoh's throne room. 80. The world had written him off at 40. But God waited until his character matched his calling, and then he said, "Go," and Egypt never recovered. Here is the question that should shake you this morning. What if your greatest impact is not behind you? What if everything you have survived was the curriculum and March 16th and 17th is graduation day? Your survival created authority. Not just influence authority, the kind that does not need a title, the kind that does not need a platform, the kind that makes a room go quiet when you walk in, because something on you is undeniable. And here is the truth that hell has been working overtime to keep you from believing. Your testimony is part of someone else's rescue. Someone right now is standing on the edge of the same cliff you once stood on. And the only voice that will reach them, the only story that will pull them back is yours. Not a polished preacher's, not a celebrity pastor's. Yours. Because you did not just read about the valley, you walked through it, and you came out. That is authority that cannot be manufactured. That is oil that cannot be faked. God is not just reassigning your calendar. He is reassigning your influence. He is handing the mantle back heavier now, richer now, to shoulders that have been forged strong enough to carry it without flinching. And if you have been feeling in your spirit that these coming days mean something, that this pressure you have been under is not the end, but the edge of something entirely new, you are right. Because what changes everything may not be what comes to you. It may be who you become when God finally positions you. Share this right now with someone who is standing on the edge of a change they can feel but cannot explain. They need to hear this before March 16th passes. Because in the final sections of this message, we are going to step into the moment itself, what to do on March 16th and 17th, so you do not miss the shift that heaven has already set in motion for your life. You've been asking God for a sign. What if these 2 days are it? Not the sign you imagined, not the burning bush, not the parted sea. Something quieter, something more dangerous to the enemy, because it requires something he cannot fake: your obedience. Here is what I need you to understand before we go any further. God does not need you to be perfect for these 2 days. He does not need you loud, polished, or spiritually sharp. He needs you available. He needs you present. He needs you willing to clear the table so he can set it. Because that is exactly what March 16th is. March 16th is not the day to cling. It is the day to loosen your grip. Think about a table covered with last week's dishes. Old food, old weight, old mess. You cannot place a fresh meal on a cluttered table. And God is holding something prepared, something specific with your name written on it. But he is waiting on you to make room. What has he been asking you to release? You know what it is. You have known for months. That resentment you carry like a coat you forgot you were still wearing. That fear you keep dressing up as wisdom. That door from 5 years ago that God closed, and you are still standing outside it, knocking. Ecclesiastes 3:6 says there is a time to keep and a time to cast away. This is the time to cast away. Before you check your phone on the morning of March 16th, before the noise of the world gets its hands on you, sit down in the quiet, 5 minutes, 10 if you can, and do something that costs you something real. Write one sentence of surrender, not a prayer list, not a request, one sentence. Something like, I release what is behind me so I can receive what is ahead. Then pray with open hands, literally, palms up, because clenched fists cannot receive. And speak peace over what is ending in your life, because not everything God is closing is punishment. Some of it is promotion. Refuse on this day to walk back through old emotional doors. Refuse to rehearse old wounds. Refuse to make agreements with fear and delay. Every time that familiar anxiety rises, and it will rise, you answer it with this: that chapter is closed. I do not live there anymore. This is not weakness. This is spiritual warfare at its most precise. And then March 17th arrives, and everything shifts. March 17th is not the day to shrink back. It is the day to stand in quiet expectation. Think about a radio sitting on your kitchen counter. The signal is already broadcasting. It has been broadcasting the entire time. But if the dial is not tuned correctly, all you hear is static. March 17th is about tuning in, getting sensitive, getting still enough to hear what God has already been saying. When you wake up, pay attention to the first thought in your mind. Pay attention to the conversation that finds you unexpectedly. Pay attention to the name that surfaces in your spirit before you can explain it. Proverbs 20:12 says, "The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord has made them both." He has given you ears that were built for this moment. Write down what you sense God is opening, not what you hope, not what you fear, what you sense, a direction, a name, a simple yes or no in your spirit. Write it down, one sentence. Because chosen ones who ignore the nudge miss the breakthrough that was one step past the discomfort. Speak life on this day, out loud if you have to. Not because God needs to hear the volume, but because you need to hear yourself agree with heaven. Isaiah 43:19 says, "I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up." Now. Not eventually. Not when you feel more ready. Now. This is the day to bless your future instead of rehearsing your past. Call that person you have been meaning to call. Accept the invitation you almost declined. Move in simple obedience, even when the step feels too small to matter. Because with God, the small step is always the sacred one. You do not have to force this moment. You only have to meet it with obedience. These 2 days are not complicated. They are not reserved for the spiritually elite, the theologically trained, or the ones who have it all together. They are for the faithful remnant, the ones who are still here. The ones who did not quit when quitting would have been completely understandable. That is you. Release on the 16th. Align on the 17th. Clear the table. Tune the radio. Open the curtains. Set down the baggage at the border. And watch what God does with a heart that finally made room for Him to move. If you are receiving this as your instruction for March 16th and 17th, type right now, "I am ready for alignment." Because the moment you say yes to these 2 days, you have already crossed the threshold. And what is waiting on the other side of your obedience will take your breath away. Let me tell you what just happened to you. You did not stumble onto this message. You were guided here. And if you have stayed through every word, through the silence, through the wait, through the moments that made something inside your chest crack open, then you need to understand what that means. God does not waste the attention of a chosen one. Every season you endured every unanswered prayer. Every night you cried where nobody could hear you. Every morning you woke up and forced yourself to keep going when everything inside you said quit. None of it was random. None of it was punishment. None of it was God looking away. It was preparation. Romans 8:28 does not say God makes some things work for your good. It says all things, all things. That includes the loss that broke you, the betrayal that redefined you, the closed door that confused you for years. God was not sleeping. He was building. And here is the word that will undo you if you let it in. You thought God was delaying you, but God was protecting the version of you that could actually carry what He was preparing. Think about that. If the blessing had come when you first begged for it at your most wounded, your most fearful, your most desperate, it would have destroyed you. Not because God didn't love you, because He loved you too much to release what you weren't yet strong enough to hold. This moment changes everything. Not because March 16th and 17th are magic numbers written in the sky, but because you are no longer the person who entered this season of waiting. The version of you that cried in private, endured in silence, and stayed faithful in the dark is about to witness what God was building all along. What changes now is not just your circumstance. It is your spiritual posture, your expectation, your clarity, your authority. Something has shifted in the invisible realm, and the natural world is about to catch up. The old season does not have legal ground over you anymore. The old cycle is broken. The old chains do not fit the person you have become. And these 2 days, March 16th and March 17th, they are not just dates on a calendar. For some of you watching right now, they are the crossing point, the line in the sand. The moment heaven drew a boundary and said, "This is where the old story ends." So I want to speak directly to you, not to a crowd. To you. You have been carrying this alone for too long. You have been strong for too long. You have been quiet for too long. And God sees every single pound of it. He has not forgotten one prayer. He has not dismissed one tear. He has been counting them. Psalm 56:8 says, "He has collected every tear in a bottle and written every one of them in his book." Your suffering has a record in heaven, and your breakthrough has an address on earth. Now let me pray over you. Father God, I come before your throne right now on behalf of every soul who has stayed until this moment. Lord, you see them, not just their pain, but their potential, not just their history, but their destiny. Right now, in the name of Jesus, I speak release over every spirit of fear that has wrapped itself around their lungs and made it hard to breathe. Let it go. Let it break. Let it fall. I speak clarity over every mind that has been clouded by confusion, by grief, by the weight of a season that lasted longer than it should have. I speak courage into every heart that has grown tired of hoping. Father, I ask you to sever every old cycle, every generational pattern, every invisible chain that has followed this soul from one chapter to the next. Cut it. By the blood of Jesus, let it be severed at the root. Renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31, let them mount up with wings as eagles. Let them run and not grow weary. Let them walk and not faint. Lord, cover March 16th and March 17th with your hand. Let nothing that is meant for them be missed. Let every divine appointment land. Let every door that is supposed to open, open. Let every door that is supposed to close, close without their interference. Give them holy expectation. Give them eyes to recognize your movement when it comes. Give them peace so deep that even transition cannot shake it. And give them the boldness, the holy, unshakable boldness, to step onto the new path when you say move. In Jesus' name, Amen. Now hear me. One last time. The wait was not wasted. The delay was not the end. The old chain is breaking. The old door is closing. The new path is opening. And this moment will change everything. If you are stepping into this shift type right now, my moment has come. Send this to someone who has been carrying a heavy spirit and needs to know heaven has not forgotten them. And stay close to this channel, because what comes next will build on what God is starting right here. For some of you, March 16th and 17th will not be remembered as ordinary days. They will be remembered as the days heaven drew a line and your life never moved the same again.